Good morning from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's another day in paradise. It's a lovely sunny day actually. It's windy out there, but it's warmish and it's beautiful, and I had a good sleep. Be'ezrat Hashem, that continues. So feeling a little bit perkier than I was yesterday. Yesterday I was in a very, very strange altered state. Oh, but I get like that. I get like that with sleep deprivation and my trauma issues. Some days out of the blue they'll just slam me, and that's the way it is. But I feel better today, thank the goddess, because I'm looking forward to my birthday in 2 days' time, and I want to be in a high vibration, buoyant mood for when I go dancing, although that will be very late in the evening at 11 p.m. But and I'll have the whole birthday day to get through. But anyway, I'm sure I will be fine. I just have to ride my my moods like I've always ridden them through, like a Mustang Quay galloping into the night. Riders in the storm, am I right? Yes, I'm enjoying the beautiful morning. I actually woke up at 8 a.m, but I stayed in bed till about 9:30 because I was still a bit kind of drowsy and funny feeling, and so I went to bed early last night, which is why I'm waking up earlier, which is a bit astonishing. I'm not normally an early morning person. But I had to get up a couple of times during the night for the usual nocturnal ablutions, but after the second interruption around about 1:30 a.m, I got a solid block of sleep from then on till 8, so 7.5 hours. So this is looking promising, people. If I can keep this up, getting blocks of 7 solid hours of sleep, I can heal myself to the 10th generation before me and maybe start being able to do more things like manage life better. So I won't get too excited, because if I get too excited, things sometimes go wrong or some other health problem beleaguers me. So I won't get too carried away just yet, but it's looking like there is an improvement, and so I'm very pleased and hopeful that Mama T might actually get well enough to function a bit better again. I mean, I'll still have all my other CPTSD issues, and the arthritis and the gut and all the other issues that slam me from time to time, but having restorative sleep every night will be amazing. And it also means that when I settle myself back down and sleep at night, I could actually consider taking on a permanent partner, because I won't be up every 5 fucking minutes disturbing everyone's rest. So there is that. It's a hopeful thought, isn't it? Anyway, we'll see. Time will tell. I just have to trust in my body's innate ability to heal herself or find a new equilibrium within the confines of, my weird way of existing in the world. And soldier on. Shoulders back, boobs out, on we go. So on that note, does that look like there's bleach on there? There is. Well, anyway, on that note, we'll carry on with today's readings of Even Date. And it's titled Poetic License and Internet Stalkers and Sweet Memories of Much Beloved Pets. I brought Charlie inside. I had her outside in the garden, but she wanted to be with Mama, and it's fair enough, wanting to be with her Mama. So Here's a photo of my best friend and unofficially adopted brother. I probably should make it a formal adoption one day. I think he's over me now. He's not taking my calls. So I might have to divorce him as a brother, but I'll keep him as a friend. Do you like my rationale? Oh well, he's a very busy man and he's living his own psychedelic dreaming without psychedelics, people. But he's living his own, he's unfurling his own creativity and his own dream, you know, managing his own health issues at the moment. So I cut him some slack, and hopefully I'll hear from him by Sunday, because the plan was, if he's still well enough to go, I haven't spoken to him so I don't know, that we were going to go to Byron on Sunday together. Anyway, it is what it is. If I don't hear from him or whatever happens, I'll make the decision on Sunday whether I'll go to Byron by myself, because I really do want to go to Byron and I don't want anything to impede on that. Unless, of course, he's really desperately ill. See, I worry when he doesn't take my calls. I worry about him as if I were his mother. And I'm not his mother, I'm only 6 years older than him, for the love of all the gods. But we've always had this dynamic. Maybe I was his mother in another lifetime or something weird like that. But anyway, here he is, my beautiful one, my gorgeous one, my wonderful friend who's been through a lot over the years with all my chaos and fucking constant psychic attacks and fucking bullshit. There's no other word to describe it. It was intense, people. But here he is with my my Charlie. How can I do this? Here he is with my Charlie and his little Harvey. And Harvey was not a happy chappy because he was frightened of the Charlie. And it was really quite sweet. And taken in 2017, so not long after Charlie came into our lives. My goodness, Charlie, you've been with us for 7 years now. 7 years, little girl. 7 years with the mama. Yes, she's had a happy time with the mama. She's had a happy life, running free, being allowed to roam around in the trees and hang out with the wild birds, although she doesn't like the boy birds much. And, you know, live in the garden and free range, and she loves me, that bird. She really does. I'm just looking at her now. She knows I'm talking about it and she's doing this. It's the sweetest thing. Whatever idiot decided that animals don't have souls, including Orthodox Judaism and, you know, Catholicism, they're the soulless ones, because even birds have a higher intelligence than you can even factor in, and they definitely have souls. I'm quite convinced of that. And they have their own little personalities too. Yes, my little baby. Is you my little baby? April 10th, 2023. I wrote, at last, success. I made the sprue and button vertically, and this time his dear little fairy ears filled out. There was a bit of spillage, so I'm cleaning him up, but he should scrub up okay. Here's a birthday gift for one of my longest, most intrepid, loyal friends. That would be Lynn Sloan. So I think I will surprise her, as she thinks I gave up making him after 5 failures. It was very tempting to give up, but because it was a birthday gift and I really wanted her to have it, failure, was not an option. And so finally, triumphantly, I managed to make Yoda for her. Yoda from Star Wars. May the Force always be with us, my darlings. We are all Jedi. Some a bit more forceful than others. Some a bit more intrepid and determined. But the Force is always with us. Always and forever. Never ever forget that. Anyway. 10th of April 2021. Pain in my lower jaw. I think I'm brewing another abscess, but it's in the bone as there is no tooth where it hurts. When will this evil shit ever end? No wonder I've been feeling crazy and fatigued lately, staving off yet another infection. This is quite comical too. Well, that was weird. Some guy on the Gold Coast just messaged me and quizzed me about why I'm selling my Judaica objects, then told me to come back to the fold, then invited me to spend Shabbat with him sometime. I felt so weirded out, I had to go out and jump up and down, in the back garden I meant, and tell God that this is not what I am wanting, to be picked up in the fucking Facebook marketplace. I told God I wanted one man, and look how that ended up, with more epic fucking treachery. The stars just twinkled wryly with dry bemusement, as they do. They're always very bemused in my walk. I went back inside and told the dude, Laila Tov, good night. Not buying into the Baal Teshuvah converting Chabad bullshit. Been there, done that with Davidson, Devo, and that also ended with him trying to rape me and strangle me. He is dead now, and so is his old-time Chabadnik dishonouring of women like the Tanya, and his filthy old-timey rapey religion. It's all dead to me. Well, actually it isn't. And I was just angry about the raping and the strangling. I don't think Chabad is an old-timey rapey religion. Not everyone. So I kind of owe Chabad an apology there, because not everyone in Chabad is a rapist or a misogynist or a strangler. And kisses to Rabbi Jaffe, who's a decent Chabad rabbi, and probably kisses to the few other good, kind, decent men in Chabad. But I got bashed with the ugly stick, did I not? Getting enmeshed in those Kabbalah classes with Emmanuel Meshes, constantly making filthy comments about my vagina and that other filthy creep who's dead now. So I could let it go since he's dead, but I won't since he still haunts me occasionally. And also, the truth remains the truth, no matter how many times you cut and splice it and dissect it. At its core, it is always the truth. And so I'm afraid I'll have to abide by that until the day I transition from this mortal body into some other form, and then they can deal with me mano a mano, face to face, because I will not be doing the Christian heterodox ideology of forgiveness, because I have God and the ancient ones completely cognizant of why I am like this now after decades of trauma and horrific experiences. It's not a justification for bad behaviour, but it is what it is, and I'm cleaving to that truth and that reality. I tried the forgiveness trope for decades, and it only ended up with more strangulations and more attempted rapes. So no, hell no, I won't be going there ever again. I will not compromise on my body autonomy, my safety, and my will to stay alive, or even, if the gods allow it, thrive. And in a way, organised religion is dead to me. They seriously damaged me and let me down. And then when I floundered with severe trauma issues, kicked me when I was down as well. So where is God in all of that? Looking down with folded arms, going, humans. I'm quite sure if we could anthropomorphise God, he'd be heartily sick of us too. And we're not just his only creations, by the way. There is creations across the multiverses, some far more advanced than us, that probably fly by and go, don't go there. Those people are not nice to each other. Very dishonouring. You're not safe on planet Earth with that lot. And that, my friends, is truer than we need to know. And I continue. I was cast back to Earth after the last nightmare surgery to raise hell on my abusers. Yes, I was indeed, by the grace of all the gods. Living and dead. Abusers living and dead, not the gods. Although I did have one lover, the last lover, that was so psychotic. He told me he was a living God, and told me that there were no other gods but him, and he was a living God. And in my Jewish way, because I am at core a Jew, even though I'm pissed off with my religion at times, I said to him, I would never dare say that, raise one up as more powerful than God. I said, that's guaranteed to get you smited, dude. And he laughed, and then he was indeed smited with 4 hours of very intense and painful constipation. So I don't know how I came to be conversing with him, but I sat on the phone with him for 4 hours, and I said, of course you can't shit. I said, living gods don't have a need for an alimentary canal. You may never shit again. And then I laughed and I laughed and I laughed and waited till he eventually shat. Not that I could see it or anything like that, but, till he reported to me that he had passed a bowel motion. This is what level of psychotic idiot he really was, to be frank. And but I laughed. I said, don't ever raise yourself up higher than God again. Might not be so simple next time. Eat prunes. Stay away from loose women. As if he was ever going to do that. And look, you have to laugh. You do have to laugh. When my Holy One decides to smite an enemy of mine, who, by the way, at that time, I wasn't particularly looking at him as an enemy. I was still holding out high hopes for that idiot. Well, anyway, yes, in the presence of my God, he wanted to raise himself up as all-powerful, living God. I mean, he was into that BDSM kink, wasn't he? They all think they're gods, and actually they're just debauched, squalid little fucking putrid weaklings that make me vomit a little bit on my mouth when I come across them. But there is that. But anyway, he got smited in the most appropriate way. Gods don't need alimentary canals. They don't eat, and therefore they don't shit. And one day we will all be in that space where we don't need food as sustenance. But that one, he'll still be going around like a freaking, ghost in the machine, like a hollow man. He'll still go around vampirising everyone's energy as an evil entity, because that's what he really is, a psychic fucking vampire. I worked it out in the end. I thought, that's why he kept coming to look for me in dance spaces, His demon So-So was looking for a conduit to have a quick suck since he was no longer capable of the quick fuck. Well, because I shut down that conduit real fast, by the way. I abhor users and abusers, especially when it comes to sexuality. I mean, really, those kind of men, it's just a form of being a rapist, really, when they just want to throw their leg over and run away into the night. They're just users and abusers. They've got no couth and no grace, and certainly no love in their hearts for anyone, including themselves. They're just seeping ball sacks of frickin' seminal fluid looking to excrete on someone. That's how empty and vapid they truly are, those kinds of men. And if you're one of those kinds of men, get off my fucking channel. That's how much I find you putrescent and revolting. Anyway, I need a man with heart and soul and grace and human decency and kindness, who knows how to love a woman in all aspects of her being, not just for her vagina, by the way. Seriously. Where was I before I went on to that little rant? I mean, like here I was even saying about this nice Jewish man wanting me to come and spend Shabbat with him. Shabbat is 24 hours, actually, from sunset on Friday to sunset on Saturday. Do you think he was offering for me to go and have a quick doven with him in the local shul, Temple Shalom down in the Gold Coast? I don't think so. It's really fucking creepy. Like, it's just creepy when you think about it. Look, at least I can laugh about it now. Anyway, as I said, this last paragraph. I was cast back to earth after the last nightmare surgery. That was in 25th of June 2019, when I actually did die briefly. All my enemies went, what? She only died briefly? Damn it! Anyway, no, I'm back, you bastards. I'm back to continuously grind your gears about my continued thriving on this planet right in front of your faces sometimes. No one asks you to stay on my channel though, enemies. You could go and get a life, find some other hobby, continue with pulling wings off flies. Anyway, I was cast back to raise hell on my abusers, living and dead, and to raise the Shekhinah, the divine presence of God, or Lilith, to her proper place of holiness, integrity, honor, and even love. Ahava, liba, amor, arohanui. The rest is utter bullshit. And my beautiful friend Laura Martin in Canada wrote, just what you need, another weirdo trying to pick you up on Facebook. And we just had to laugh because it's just so insane, the whole thing, really. The whole of human existence has become just a gross insanity. It's hard to keep your sanity when all about you are losing their heads and blaming it on you, to quote Rudyard Kipling. But it's true, man. My gosh, it's so true. I wrote back, I thought it was kind of sweet in a way. He worries about my soul and my connection to God. A total stranger with no idea about my life cares about my soul. How quaint. I don't think it was my soul he was really thinking about in that point in time. Come and spend Shabbat with me. I wonder what he would have done if I'd said, yeah, give me your address, I'm coming now, which I've been known to do to people like that. Oh, do they run and hide real fast. Yes, I'm going to be there. I'm getting in my car. I'll be there. And how far away? Oh, Byron Bay, 2 hours. I'll be there in 2 hours. They literally shit themselves because they're just little peevish little mummy's boys, little sperm bandits sitting behind their computer having a quick flog. Am I right? That's what they really are. Jewish, non-Jewish, it makes no difference. Those kind of types that, start private messaging women who are actually trying to sell their wares legitimately are they're having a little flog. I'm sorry, that's what they're doing. It's so sad. Too much sperm, as David Davidson, in his capacity as a homeopath, once said to me about one of his patients. I was like, wow, takes one to know one, doesn't it? Like cures like. Oh, dear goddess. The crap I used to have to put up with those idiots. Well, I didn't have to. I willingly put myself in that position because, unbeknownst to me, I hadn't realised back then that I'm a shaman. Apparently I heal in very unique and extraordinary ways too. With words. Did I mention cock flog? Anyway, I told the guy, I assume it was a male, that my God has always provided for me and protected me, so it is not the Holy One I have issues with. He's emblazoned on my arm for a reason, people. I find it odd that yesterday I was cold called by the Jehovah's Witnesses, and this evening, this outreach, Mr. Gus, someone upstairs is jerking my chain. And my friend Laura wrote back, the universe is seriously messing with you. And I wrote, I admit it. I admit it did feel a bit bittersweet to sell my Seder plate. It was a final declaration of independence from that religion that only spawned contempt and decades of abuse and pain. I also need money to try to learn silversmithing with a view, a long shot, of starting my own business. What good are Seder plates and a shofar that crawl off the walls covered in dust when I need money to set up a business or even buy tools, etc.? Or, eat. And in the way of the Tanya, I will probably fail at that too. God always has his boot firmly planted on my back, but I get a sense that he likes who I am now, since I started reclaiming my inner spirit, neshama, my ruach, my nefesh, and my neshama, and reclaiming my own power and saying a categoric no to all abusers across the known multiverse, especially and including the last 4 years with the COVID epoch. He likes that I got off that tiny myopic grid and opened my heart and mind to the goddess, to our earth, and to the stars, all manifestations of the Holy One indeed. My little invisible interdimensional travellers don't understand that humans need cash for food and to buy their own homes, etc. They expect me to fight a constant uphill battle. I can't do it anymore. I really can't. This is when I will go into suicide ideation, when I go into overwhelm about my lack of wealth creation, because it was all robbed from me by abusers, and my inability to wealth create. And I can't think about it. I just sink into the depths of despair, and I spiral under, and I get suicidal in those circumstances. So we can't go there. I'm thriving, I'm happy, I have more than enough, and I am truly, deeply loved by good, kind, honouring, authentic, sweet, affectionate, loving, generous, Soulkin. And you know who you are, my darlings. I can't do it anymore, I said. It's too much for me, really and truly, to be denied true love and enough to live on in relative comfort. But yet I have been not doing it for 56 years now. In 2 days it'll be 59 years. A paradox, an incongruency, my survival, my love, my determination to get things right once and for all. I told the guy I'm keeping my Shabbat candlesticks, Chanukiah and Talit, but I ended up keeping the shofar because nobody bought it. But I must ask myself, what the fuck for? Well, I still light the Chanukiah, and on occasion I still light the Shabbat candlesticks too. I must buy some more Shabbat candles. I used to have a great big box with 72 candles. I need to source another box of candles like that. Then I will be more inspired to light the candles on a Friday evening before I go out for my wild, shamanic, magical, mystical, frenzied dance in the Brooklyn Standard nightclub or other nightclubs. My friend Morris laughed, and I wrote back, "Why are you laughing?" And he replied by reading the part to be picked up in the fucking Facebook marketplace. And then he put 5 laughter emojis. And it's true, it's so true, but he gets my sense of humour. And also, he used to dance with me regularly at the Livewire bar. So he used to see in full flight how I felt about seedy types, verminous, creepy ball sacks trying to sleaze onto me. And he would see me roll my eyes or flick them off. And so he knows how I feel about being picked up. So he saw the funny side of that, and it's so true. I mean, it just grinds a woman's gears when people behave like that. Well, they're not people, are they? They're demonic-ridden fucking ball sacks and imps. I don't think they even have souls. They lack something. They lack a frontal lobe because they're psychopaths, and they lack souls. My bird has more soul than those kinds of men. But anyway, this is what you deal with when you go dancing out in wild spaces. You know, you attract the broken and the debauched and the desolate. And some of them you actually stupidly in the past fell in love with and got nothing but abject fucking horror as a reward for that. So it's why I'm a bit, cautious now about who I let in and who I love, and and it shouldn't be like that. When you love, you should love just because for the sake of loving. It should be that pure and beautiful and sweet and kind of a bit naive. But I've had it crushed out of me, people. I've had it ground out of me like ground fine particles of glass that I then had to drink and let it lacerate everything inside me and scarify me. And then I had to almost die in 2015, and I had to rebuild from that. Thanks, Dave, you motherfucker. But you weren't the only one. You're not that special. Don't big note yourself on that you succeeded in crushing me down, boy chick. Because there were worse, far worse men in my life than even you. But go along with your training wheels. Hopefully you'll fall off them one day and magically turn yourself into a semblance of a decent man. But when it came to the Tanya, you were incapable of it. Probably was an anti-Semite too, for all I know. You just don't know what people's true agendas were, do you? It's beyond evil. Telling me he's a living God. Telling a Jewish shaman that he himself is a living God. He was a peevish, snaggle-toothed, nasty, demon-ridden bozozo little man. See you next Christmas, boy chick. Where are you going to find a woman like this? Never, ever, ever again. Anyway, I wrote to Morris, who's quite fond of me, my little darling. Dear Morris, I know, right, like I am some desperate whore. I wonder if while he was praying for my soul, if he had his hand on his dick. But shh, I am perhaps being too harsh. He might be my future husband. Blech. And he laughed again. It's one thing I love about Morris, is he gets my weird sense of humour. And it is rather weird and dark at times. My friend Laura Martin replied, I also had a recent unsettling experience on Facebook. Remember when I posted those photos of myself on my birthday? I have my Facebook settings set so that everything I post on Facebook is only to be seen by my Facebook friends. But the other day I received a private message from a guy I don't know and who has no friends in common with me. He sent me a creepy message saying that I have a beautiful smile with a leering emoji, and he seemed to want to hook up with me. I ignored and blocked his message, but I'm still wondering how he managed to see those photos. And I replied, they were beautiful photos. She's an extremely beautiful woman, but it's still inappropriate when these men on the internet behave like that, right? It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get a job, get a haircut. If you can't get a job, get a hobby. No, instead they're predating on women on Facebook or YouTube and just making utter trolls of themselves. Here's looking at you, kids. Anyway, I wrote, I get weirdos on Instagram try to add me or follow me, sometimes just for utter boredom or contrariness. I let them on my page and immediately the stupid cunts try to message me. I used to reply as in, What the fuck? I don't even know you. But now I just ignore them and let them sit like squalid toads until they get bored and fall off their perch. None of them has been creative or interesting enough to come up with a really good hook in their messages. My daughter tells me these types all work in love scams out of Scotland or Nigeria or some other shithole, probably the Maruka internet. Oh, that sounds racist, but you get my vibe, don't you? And to be careful, as some women fall for it. The Maruka internet cafes, that was an ongoing joke that went on for some years. But you know what? It's not funny when it constantly happens. I've had on average in the last week a friend request on Facebook by blatantly obvious scammers. It'll be a photo of a man and then they'll say so-and-so's, updated her profile. They can't even get the pronouns right. So you see it and you go, oh, love scammer, oh, another love scammer. And it makes you wonder where they're getting all these photos of all these quite gorgeous looking men from. They're always quite handsome looking men. And you think, that's just creepy. Do these men even know that their photos have been stolen by some love rat scammer? Probably not. Anyway, you just kind of have to laugh. But they hope that you're stupid and fall for it, or you're so pathetic and lonely and withered inside that you communicate with them thinking they're the real thing and then fall madly in love, and next thing you know, they're scamming you for every penny you've got. It's happened to a few of it's happened to males that I don't know personally, but it happened to a father of a friend of mine. He got scammed for $150,000, by the way. Still wondering why his love of his life didn't meet him at a hotel in Melbourne when he arranged to meet her there. He's still in denial that he was being scammed. And I just said to my friend, imagine having so much money that you could throw away $150,000 on some idiot you're never going to see. I said, given my bank details, I could do with $150,000. She says, I know, right? That's inheritance that could have gone to my children. It was just disgraceful. She was actually quite upset, and I don't blame her. But, this is how people get taken advantage of by liars and demonic-ridden, hell-ridden imps and cheaters and scammers, and it's a really, really evil world out there. And here's me holding on to my own innate soul as best as I can, living my psychedelic dream. 10th of April 2020, 11:11 p.m. My angels send greetings of love and light, joy and healing, and triumph over adversity to all who wish to receive them with open hearts and open minds. Blessed be. I had another great evening dancing with my ecstatic dance friends on Zoom. Bobo played ball, but actually danced with me on 2 occasions. He has to want to, but he growls and snarls when he wants to be put back down on the floor. Weird little dog, but he is getting used to the ecstatic dancing with his mama T. He used to dance with me at the Byron Bay drumming circle when he was still a very young dog. I miss that actually, but I'm not going to force him to dance with me if he doesn't want to. Body autonomy, free will, and hashtag consent, even for my pets. Laughing out loud. Trying to figure out why the postie went down the road and doing weird things, but you know what? Not my monkey, not my circus. He's living his best psychedelic dreaming and I'm living mine. Here I wrote, Nankite pa ma chérie, Ma plus belle dame sans merci, j'ai cœur d'accord. And I replied, peut-être oui or non, Tanya est fatiguée, bonne nuit. Auf Deutsch, Blödsinn. Gute Nacht, alles Gute, keine Ahnung, sei gesund. So then French said, don't worry, my dear, my most beautiful lady without mercy. I have heart, of course. Perhaps, yes or no. Tanya is tired. Good night. In German, nonsense. Good night, all good, no worries, be well. I don't know which spirit I was talking to at that point in time, but they decided to practice out French and German on me, probably just to see how I'd respond. Here I posted a photo. This is not long after they came into my life. Oh, he's gone down there now. Strange postman. Strange postman. There's our little Sophie. Sophie is out to play. Socks is still not making an appearance, but he is calmer. Poor Socks did not like having to move house at all, but he ended up loving me very dearly and he was a wonderful friend. And Sophie was too, but Socks was particularly fond of me. So in 2020 I wrote, miss our Sophie, she and Socks arrived 6 years ago. Wow, time flies. 10th of April 2019. I have lived alone for almost 13 years, and by that I meant since my kids moved out of this house in 2006. But it's longer than that. I've lived alone with my kids since I left my ex-husband in 1st of January. Well, I didn't move out straight away, but the marriage ended on 1st of January 1995. So it's 29 years now I've lived alone with kids and without kids. Anyway, I wrote, well, without humans. I always have had my animals and the spirits and the garden, of course. But after 13 years of living on my own, meaning without my adult children, even with me, I doubt I could ever cohabit again. It is nice to be free to do whatever I please within the constraints of my poverty and not feel controlled or trapped by other humans. I can't imagine what it would be like if I fell in love and had a partner that wanted to live with me and we were in love. I guess if we're madly in love, we'd make it work, right? But I just can't imagine what it would be like to live with someone again because I've lived alone for so long. It's a bit of a frightening thought at times. However, I wrote, I've been missing that ignoble Englishman for 2 weeks. No idea what that is even about. I'm so glad I got over that. Oh, it was so draining on my being. It really was. Especially when he still used to haunt me as a living embodiment of his own godlike, shitty character floating around me. I'd run into him and, on the streets of Brisbane 4 times in 2022 and twice last year. But it's okay. You can't do anything about people driving around on the same road you're on and in the same space-time continuum. It's just a bit weird and confronting when it happens that you run into him, but it's okay. He's not doing me any harm. It's just, I don't know what that was even about. It's just synchronicity, I suppose. He never made a commitment to be a partner in any way, that's for sure. The final death knell to any hope of even remaining friends. was when he manipulated George and in early January shoved my ex-traitorous friend Sarah in my face. That was a really fucking dumb move, but it got the result he wanted, I suppose. I had to remind myself that water, or in their case, stinking bilge effluent, finds its own level. But I'm trying to figure out why I still love him with such ferocious intensity. A man that was so cruel. And I no longer love him. I've gotten over it. It took a long time though. So there was some weird spiritual connection between us that I still don't understand what that was. But I have beautiful men in my life now who flow love to me. You know, in the club where I dance. You know, also unavailable because they're married or in partnerships, or, you know, one's available but he's far too young. But, you know, the love, the sweetness and the love is real. Like, they literally, when I turn up, their faces literally light up with real heartfelt love and joy just to even see me, you know, arrive and be there to dance. And I've never had that before in my life. Seriously, not ever before in my life have I experienced such sweet, devoted, determined, agape love and perfect gentlemen. Not one of them has been inappropriate with me. You know, just genuinely adore me for no reason but that I exist and that I dance wildly for the bands. But so there is a kind of a magic in that, but it's just beyond delightful. After years of splonging around in this deep grief over that last evil motherfucker, it's like the gods took my Beauregard and with his death taking him, almost like releasing some kind of pressure cooker. All the evil that had been surrounding me in my life just went with it, just left. It's astonishing, but I'd rather have my dog with me, really. I miss my dog every day. But it's amazing how his leaving this planet took all this fucking awfulness with him. It's just a bit bizarre, you know. Here I write, after I said why I still love him with such ferocious intensity. Maybe I'm picking up on his own regrets or grief or sorrow, but I doubt it. I am just trying each day to purge any residue of love I have for that man out of my body, mind and spirit. But some days he is so strongly with me, like we are almost one being. It sounds crazy. Maybe I have finally gone crazy. That must be it. Anyway, I am not really alone. I have beautiful friends who have loved me no matter what, no matter how long I have pined for false men. Even that powerful love surging through my heart that was an illusion has kept me in a state of flux and flow and a siren song of naked hope that one day I will be loved by a partner. But that might never happen in this life. I have to make peace with that. True love, passion, etc. might only ever be a mirage for me. So on I go, dancing into the night, joyously and triumphantly reclaiming my beauty, strength, honour and freedom in the face of my enemies and false friends and former lovers. They will never comprehend who I am or what it took to remain alive and free. They lack the heart and soul. It's not their fault, it's their programming. Desire for empty fucks and engorged greed. Duplicitous, competing, gravel-rashed seeds of hatred. I will heal. I am healing. (2019). I just wanted to check how long ago that was that I wrote this. 5 years. One day I will barely remember his face, or his touch, or the deep soul awakening spawned by his contempt and lackluster failures to be my man. I suppose I can be grateful for that. The kick that reminded me that I was not put on earth to succor men and participate in my own debasement. Every time I rose up from my own woundedness, rose up and shone. One day I will keep rising and never come back to earth. What a blissful day that will be. I miss him. I miss the life I could have had if I had been loved. I miss then nothing. It was not real and therefore of no consequence. But oh, how we build our lives on shattered, broken mirror shards of dreams and quests and romantic ideals. A refraction, a reflection, and often a deflection. Nup. I have only myself to look into, to truly see. That love that burns and boils like a furnace of fiery obliteration, it must be tamped down as the heat and the longing is slowly killing me. But I know, it will flare again and again in a memory, in a sweet hypnagogic beat. My love is real. It belongs only to me, my precious. I look forward to the sweet calm of a safe harbour somewhere, perhaps in another paradigm, or right here and now. Breathe, be, delight, hold on through weird emotional storms. So many envious people thwarted my love, turned it sour with their lies and treachery. So now the karma is theirs. I hope one day they know what they have cost me. It's an agony without respite. But I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, howl like a wolf and sing like a tuneless siren to depth sound my spirit in all worlds. I am my own becoming. I no longer fear it. Here I am, always will be. Update 2020. Sighs. Sirens have been rather a theme this evening. On TV, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And on an illustration group page. What news from the watery subterranean depths, sisters? Why I'm looking is while I was reading that, I had a glimpse of a woman wearing white standing at my front gate when I looked again, it wasn't there. So it was spirit. And I'm a bit freaked out because my mother used to love to wear white. That's why when she died, I actually employed the white ladies to be her funeral directors, because she was so fond of wearing white. So I'm hoping that she's not hanging around, because she is forbidden to have access to my house and my garden, and indeed my mind, body, spirit, soul. And she may be hanging around because it's nearly my birthday, and my family of origin like to fuck my vibe, including on my birthday. So I'm just conscious that I'm hoping it was just a trick of the light, but I know better. Anyway, I continue reading. This is what happens when you're spawned by very powerful but very evil people of Earth. You get haunted constantly by them, even long after their death. So it's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. It's odd. The rubbish man's coming, but my bin's been emptied. Maybe it's recycling day, but I didn't put my recycling out. Oh well, I'm not worried. 10th of April. 10th of April 2017. And she walked the length of her days under Australian skies. She stood tall and proud in her own integrity. She gazed at every man, woman and child right in the eyes, and wryly noted whom withered under her direct stare. The false ones and the weak, the liars and the cheats, dared to stare back to hide their atrocities, but the reptilian shields did little to hide their darkness and hate and envy. Just taking a moment. What you doing, Charlie? Anarchy and chaos. She grieved and mourned and almost wasted away her blood-soaked heart. But each time she rose up and blossomed again in her tree of life under the stars and moon of southern skies. She bloomed in 1,000 ways on a myriad of different days. She shed the past tormentors like a dead and decrepit skin. She found love and devotion in good people who never had plumbed the depths or scaled the heights of their souls until they met her. She succoured those who had the courage to love her, and she learned to cherish her own mortal gifts hard won on battlefields of incomprehensible horror, and used them to ennoble herself and others. She stopped questioning her existence or her destiny and let life enfold her in precious and beautiful ways, and learned to express her truth not only in words and deed, but in spirit and mind, wordless, guileless, and immutable. She was betrayed and humiliated by those who could not bear her joy, her fecund flowering, or her light. She learned to release these beings who were not acclimatized to her essence. They had not had the travails or the blessings to walk beside her or uphold her as some rare and beautiful soulkin had done. She walked her days and danced her nights. She flew on invisible wings. She swam in vast meteoric oceans. She lay down in meadows and she climbed painfully and painstakingly from every filthy, craggy abyss she fell into on her hero's journey. On her hero's folly. Same thing though. Tired of climbing and fighting and striving, she closed her eyes and let out a primal scream that was the Aleph or the Om, according to your traditions. You shall not die but live, even in the pits of deepest bile and human excrement, in poisonous wastelands of misbegotten callow cowardice and warmongering. I wrote this 3 years before COVID came along, by the way. Bit prescient, n'est-ce pas? They soiled her vagina and stabbed her heart. They plucked and feasted on her visions and her promise. But still she rose, wombless, her very core torn asunder by men's lust and births and rebirths. She rose up again, a new creature, disabled and dismembered, but healed. A shield maiden, a warrior of love so strong and so fierce that she feared her own self. She went out into the world of men and enlightened the lost and the weary, the beautiful and the wild. Her laughter rang true and profound and inspired the forgotten to find their own smile and truth. She was seen by those who knew love and unseen by the superficial and the false. She accepted the great gifts of their ostracism with grace. Only a warrior of light can stand alone in her own space and remain fearless. They came to conquer her, but could not. City angels and delusional men fell at her feet. The Holy One did not betray her or leave her, even in her darkest hours and most desecrated, sullied befoulments. There was God holding her precious and leading her forward and beyond, to a life that will always be happy ever after, with or without you, but never forgotten or alienated from the source. Blessed be the strange, the uncherished, the great and powerful castaways of a sick, perverted society. May you find your own strength and manufacture your own peace, and may we find each other, that says, and commune in joy and laughter and a great love that is pure and eternal. A healing for all beings that need uplifting, and an enrichment of the noble and brave souls that never gave up on themselves or on life. Emmet. And as I commented earlier, I'm seeing that now. The soul's lighting up around me with joy and delight to be in my company and treat me with deep honouring kindness and indeed sweetness and even romantic, romantic, sweet comments. It's delightful, and it's a shame that this gentleman that I adore is not available, because there is a great love between us that is pure and eternal. So Mama T is a little bit psychic, but unfortunately, things are the way they are, and love is the law, people. Chag Pesach Sameach, happy Passover, which begins at sundown tonight. May our ancient people continue on the path set before them in Egypt to freedom from oppression, hatred, poverty, to co-create a world that is healed, free, blessed, joyous, abundant, loving, and just and peaceful. May the eternal light that brought miracles and faith and beauty to this planet that seeded us here work with us mere mortals to bring tikkun olam, repairing of the world, for us and our progeny. May all wars cease, and may prosperity and good health, human decency and love prevail from now until eternity. Let the darkness of our past be a distant memory, never forgotten, but never to be repeated. Let those of us who have survived wars, holocausts, dire poverty, slander, betrayals, neglect, sexual violence, attempted murders, and just plain racism, misogyny, bigotry. Keep the memory of those who were spurned, spat on, denied safety and honour. Hold the standards of morality and human kindness as the highest ideals and daily example of living free and well, so that we shall know peace, truth, beauty, and a sustainable future for all of life on this planet. Amen v'salah. Then I posted, the cover photo that I showed you before of Harvey and Charlie with my beautiful friend Jared. I miss Harvey. My friend Julie Goddard wrote, "Looks like a standoff," and I replied, "Harvey is freaking out." And Jared replied, he was teaching Charlie to say this from Star Wars, am I right? Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 Charlie. She's up there giving herself a bit of a scratch. Pew, pew, pew. She did say it a few times. And I replied, Jared's phone takes better pics than my iPhone 6. And my friend Margaret, whom I've known since I was 9 years old, wrote, "Hey, what's betwixting Harvey?" Here I wrote, "A huge thank you to Sally, Jared, Jenny, Karen and Lynn, who utterly spoiled me with awesome foodstuffs and lots of chocolate and wine. Sally bought me an enormous amount of food today. I am so thrilled. She bought me a lamb roast, so I am cooking that tonight. Thanks so very much, my beautiful, generous friends. Love and blessings of Passover, Easter, Ishtar to you all. Kiss, kiss, kiss. And Passover this year begins on the 22nd of April. So happy Passover at the appointed time, my beloved ones. 10th of April 2016, 4:37 a.m. Home from a big night dancing to Mission X. I came home at 3:45 a.m. as my asthma was playing up too much. I had a great time hamming to all the hard rock songs. Now my feet are killing me. Glad to be home again to rest. 10th of April 2014. Happiness is a surprise visit from my daughter Crystal and my grandson Ramon, the rare Queensland rabbit. He and I had epic cuddles, and then to his horror, Crystal and I clipped his nails. He quickly forgave us though. He was very smoochy. Even Penny said hello. Oh, a parcel's arriving. Oh, goody goody. Is he coming out? I'll have to run and get that. Just bear with me, my friends. I won't be long. Yes, he's coming.
You would have been just better off at home. Where was that? Daisy Hill. Okay. That's the first to go. Yeah, I get you. I get Yeah,
take care about the animals. Oh, you've got some biology. I said, what? Joking down to the stall at the end of the day. Just because of how much really chip on them. Right?
Sure.
Anyway, happy thoughts.
Yes, yes.
I won't be getting any more dogs anyway, so
Well,
I've had a lot of death in the last few years. It's been too much.
that's what I said to my wife. But it happened about 2 years ago, man.
Yeah.
And last year before Christmas, my wife asked me to shoot it as well. I said,
Yeah, no, I can't be so sure.
and it's funny because when we first got our dog 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't want him. Like he was just my wife had just brought him home, but knowing that I said no, she brought him home anyway.
Yeah.
And then he bloody grew on me.
Yeah, they do.
So then
That's why
and then
wives do that, because I used to do that to my husband. You're the cat, you'll love this cat. We're fucking hurt cats. Yeah, you love that cat more than me.
yeah, well that's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
In my dog's last days, like I was pretty close to him when I bought him from my wife. And when she asked me last year, I said, no, straight up, why? Because I feel like, I said it was painful.
Yeah, it is.
It's like losing a child.
It is. It is like losing a child. And then of course they don't live as long, so it's every 10 years on average. You know, 15 if you're lucky.
I don't mind that because that's the normal way to go.
Yeah.
But when you hit and run and your dog's fucking guts are hanging across the street,
Oh, that would have been traumatizing to see.
the cops were there and they said, mate, all we got is a blanket. I think I said, no, it's a fucking blanket. And then there was a woman there that seen the car, and I said, I just looked at the cop. I said, if I see that car, I'm gonna run him over.
Yeah. Did you get one on the call?
No, like it all happened so fast. The woman that saw it, she was shocked.
Yeah.
And it all happened so fast, but this guy he said it was a blue dude, but
Straight forward.
he was speeding.
Oh,
And,
was it?
yeah, he was speeding, and then when it happened, he just went past it. Took off.
Yeah, bastard. Bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really rotten people, but you know what? There's good people too. Anyway,
Yes.
take good care and,
You too.
if you get another dog, get a bit of fence that can't burrow under, you know? Like, don't deny it. If the kids want another dog or your wife wants another dog,
Yeah, true.
don't deny that joy, because, you know,
True.
I'm only done because I lost Beauregard last year, and 2 years before that was one of my cats, and the year before that another cat, and the year before that, so it's been like bang, bang,
Bang,
bang, and I'm like, no, I'm done now. You know, it's me and the bird now. When she goes, I'll give up. I'm like, oh, what can you do?
Yeah, you're right. We'll probably get another dog one day.
Yeah, because you know, there's always some little soul out there that needs your love, you know.
It might be like adopt a new dog.
Yeah.
Because my wife's like a big believer in like, saving animals from like shelters and that.
Yeah.
She's a big believer in that.
It's a good thing to do. The only trouble is sometimes the animals are so bloody broken and damaged by some other fucking arsehole.
Yeah.
You get all that problems, but then it depends, you know.
Yeah.
I'm always a big one that animals are meant to be with me. They usually walk through my gate, just adopt me, and that's it. That's how I ended up with a lot of my animals. You know? I even had a vet one time, was taking my cat there, and he says to me, do you want another cat? I said, doctor, I've already got this one there. You want this one though, Tanya? I was like, really? He said, yeah, it was run over. I can't find anything wrong with it, so I'm giving it to you. I says, oh, all right, doctor. I get it home, its fucking tail fell off. It had been run over, but on its tail. So I took it back to my vet and I went, there was something wrong with it. He said, what's that? Its tail fell off. I went, oh shit. So he just had to like cut it back a little bit further and he just had no tail. I still kept it though. And he's like, you're a good woman, Tara. I'm so grateful you adopted this cat. I'm doing this for free. And but I was sitting there like, how does this shit happen to me? I was like, he was a good cat though. All right, take care. Have a lovely day.
And you too. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Hi, Charlie. Sorry I was gone so long. That's my lovely postman. We were just talking about. I said he didn't need to shut the gate anymore because Beauregard's died, and then we got talking about how he lost his dog to a hit and run, and it was all a bit ghoulish, quite frankly. But he was all still raw and upset about it, and I'm still raw and upset about losing Beauregard. And anyway, we had a good chat, and he's a lovely man. He's a sweetheart, and so. Anyway, life goes on, people. Where were we? Oh, yes, I was up to 10th of April 2014, clipping Ramon's nails. He quickly forgave us, though. He was very smoochy. Even Penny said hello. Socks and Sophie didn't meet him, and as Socks is still very angry with the move, that is a good thing. My life is full of fur babies, and I am as happy as a piglet in mud, only slightly more kosher. Oh, you have to laugh sometimes. I slept most of the day on and off, but had major restless leg syndrome, so was kicking too much. I should have taken Seroquel as it knocks me out. I was still awake at 6:30 a.m, woke at midday, then went back to bed around 12ish. I got up again in the late arvo and cut down the long grass growing up underneath my jade tree. It looks much tidier now. My body craves exercise now. I would go to Irish Murphy's to go dancing. We're on a bit of a lean, and I don't like being the leaning tower of pizza. Pizza I meant, but I played on the word pizza because I'm fat and all. I would go to Irish Murphy's to go dancing, but broke and want to save up my energy stores for Friday and Saturday nights. Back in the day when I was young and fit enough to do both nights, right? It's coming, people. I'm building up stamina, people. A few more months of proper sleep and I'll be dancing both nights, driving you all wild with excitement, by the way. My birthday on Saturday, so I would definitely want to go out that night. And isn't that weird? This year it falls on Friday. So, yes, we shall see what we shall see. Ramjet are playing, so I always have a good night with both Ramjet and Alter Egos. Alter Egos played last Friday and Ramjet this Friday, and I'm looking forward to it. 10th of April 2011. The struggle for love diverted and love asserted. To be or not to be, that is the question. I feel rather confused after Gail put me on immense pressure to try to get Courtney to come back to me. Like, what the fuck? I still love him a lot. I was actually in the process of grieving and getting over that, by the way. Takes me sometimes a long time to recover from, a love relationship. And that's not anything to do with the man. It's just my bloody heart, my damaged, broken, kintsugi'd heart has trouble letting go sometimes. So it's why I'm very careful about who I give my heart to and form soul connections and attachments to, because, some of those men will just climb on you and writhe a little bit and climb off and fuck off into the night, and I'm left feeling damaged by it often, It's why I had to give up on my sexuality as a healthy, red-blooded, joyous, at one time fecund woman. I had to shut it all off because I couldn't survive that, being treated like that by verminous men. So, as I said to my young Māori postman, there's good people out in the world, and there's good men out there too. And I meet them, I see them out, and they're around me. That's just a shame they're not available, but there are good men who inspire me and show me that there's still love and light and beauty and honour and decency and deep regard for me in this world. And one day, hopefully, in the not too distant future, I'll find a sexual partner that looks at me that way and treats me in all the ways I've never been treated before in life, because I'm a shaman, or, my life path, or whatever the gods decreed, what the gods decreed. But I do hope and pray that I find someone honouring of my body, mind and spirit and soul, who's capable of being a partner to me sometime in the future, hopefully not too distant future, because I don't actually want to be alone for the rest of my life. 29 years is long enough. I've waited and sometimes self-fucking immolated too, out of the need to survive. But it's enough now. It's time. It's time, little Charlie. Give us a kiss. They'll have to like Charlie too, won't they? And be nice to my Charlie. Yes, Charlie. So here I wrote, this was back in 2011 when I was still really in denial about all the abuse that he'd actually put me through. Still kind of in denial, I'd sort of shucked it aside. All the abuse, like the brass knuckle dusters he used to threaten me with, and his friend Skatey threatening me with the samurai sword, and all that nasty, awful shit. And here's me, like a dumbass. I still love him a lot. No, I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire now, but it's taken me many years of therapy to reach that gnosis. But I don't think he wants me, especially with a new woman in tow. You think? Tanya, where were you? In some kind of weird fugue state back then too. I've decided to not make a fool of myself any further, and I refuse to beg a man to love me. I have finally learnt to have some pride after years of living in denial about how little any man has ever felt for me in actuality. I guess I'll just stay alone and let love, let God. I have indeed achieved that much. My heart is aching terribly, as I feel like if I begged, I'd get him to come back. But what would be the point? No, only more threats of violence and more debasement, right? Am I right? Just another pointless go-round of mundanity and a recipe for further abuses in the future. I think Gail means well. No, she didn't. She was constantly digging into my wounds because she had Munchausen's by proxy. As she's been watching me suffer for 6 months as I grieve the end of that relationship, which did last for 5 years, to be frank. It's probably one of the longest relationships of my life. My marriage lasted 12 years, well, 10 and a half years, but I was with my ex-husband for 12 years. That was a long relationship. I flogged like a dead horse when I should have left him 6 months into the marriage when he hit me. Then proceeded to give him 2 children and try to make a life with this man who was treacherous and dishonouring and disrespectful, you know. And then 5 years with Courtney, who really was the same level of threat and dishonour and disrespect behind my back. So is it any wonder why now, at 2 days shy of 59, I'm rejoicing like a Pollyanna little Pippi Longstocking girl, swinging my legs on a swing, eating candy, living her best life at my beautiful friends in the bands and my beautiful friends in the Brooklyn Standard, who actually treat me with kindness and honour and integrity, and aren't threatening me. And, well, none of them are my sexual partner, but, you know, who actually treat me like a queen. Because it's been a long fucking time coming that I was treated with basic kindness and respect. It's been a long time coming. And like I say, I'm even happy and grateful for this wonderful post office man who's always been kind and sweet to me. Of course he is. He's Māori, he comes from my country of origin, and he has soul and heart. I could see that when he talked about grieving his dog too. So my soul can find me anywhere in the known cosmos, and we recognise each other, and we flow love backwards and forwards to each other, even when we're apart, my darlings, because that's the nature of true agape honouring love. It is ever present and ever soul nourishing, and goodness and kindness and honour and integrity. Amen Vasila to that. I'll repeat, I think Gail means well, as she's been watching me suffer for 6 months, but I don't think going backwards would bring me any joy. Nuh-uh, fool. Once you burnt that bridge, throw the gasoline on that fire, never fucking look back. If there were to be any sort of reconciliation, it would have to come from Courtney, and he's never made much effort in the love stakes with any woman. Too in love with cars, laughing out loud. Thinking on it, he must have had a form of Asperger's, because he was obsessed with cars, absolutely obsessively mad about cars, but treated his women like shit most of the time, really. I will say, though, he did fix my little car often and helped me out. He even helped me out reconditioning lawnmowers. So he wasn't all bad. He wasn't a complete fucking useless twat gobbler. But well, in the end, he gave me the flick after my mother died, which I thought was really fucking shitty timing, by the way, but he had a new woman, even though he denied it, because I delivered his Matic back to his front door and heard them all laughing. So I left it there and walked away and never said a word. But I bet he got a bit of a fright when he opened his door and this Matic slid back into his front doorway. My sense of humour. But I always return tools that I borrowed, even to an ex-lover, because I have integrity. which is why I got seriously pissed off recently when my friend, asked me if I'd borrowed a orbital sander from my husband and not given it back, because I don't do things like that. I even swallow my pride and dignity, or did swallow my pride and dignity, to return a Matic to the courtmeister, because I thought it was the only fair and decent thing to do, since in his time he'd fixed my car and let my daughter drive around in his vehicle, his Mercedes, for 3 years. So, do right by people no matter what. It's a matter of honour. But where are those people now? Long, long gone, and I'm glad. I'm still laughing how he used to threaten me through his friends. He'd say, "Oh, when Donnie sees you, he's going to smash your face in." Donnie? Smash my face in? For what? For defending him because he's a survivor of child sexual abuse and those fucking filthy, what do they call them? The brothers. That Catholic fucking thing. Something brothers is still tortured that man as a child for fucking decades till he got out of that system. Christian brothers. Christian they were. Brothers they were not. And Christian they were not. Utterly demonic, raping all the sweet little boys put into their care. But Donnie's going to kill me, don't you know, according to Courtney's drug-fucked delusion. Well, I ran into Donnie a few years ago. Came up in one of my stories recently that I've read out loud on YouTube. I ran into him at the QE2 one day when I'd been there for, what was I there for? Some fucking treatment or booking in for something. And Donnie was perfectly lovely to me, as he should be, because I actually messaged Courtney when the redress scheme came about for survivors of child sexual abuse. And I said, you make sure Donnie signs up for that. He's more than entitled to that money, whatever fucking compensation he gets. It's pittance compared to what he was put through as a boy. But it's a matter of fucking honour. Pay up. So anyway, he did. He did get compensation, and I'm happy about that. But Donnie wants to smash me in my face. Fucking idiot. Not Donnie, Courtney. A fucking idiot. Anyway, here I write. I just have to try to look forward to being my own person again and loving who I am, because no man has ever been able or willing to be the kind of man who would stand by me no matter what and just love me no matter what. If I look back, I'll turn into a pillar of salt. Yes, I will. I cried enough tears to form my own pillar of salt, surrounding me like a giant, glistening white crust. Cried over fucking idiots that weren't worth the black under my fingernail. But it is what it is. I'm already feeling rather over-salted from missing the only bit of love I had out of all 5 lovers. Up to the age of 40, I'd only had 5 lovers. That's how careful I was about falling in love, by the way, and how much damage had already been done to me by my former lovers. So when I fell in love with the Englishman, Wiglet, that was already astonishing and miraculous, because after the courtmeister, I should not have been able to love any man ever again. But I did, and I will again, because that is the power of my heart and my soul. Loving. Hopefully I stop fucking drawing in and loving monsters. I hope that stopped. I so hope that stopped. I certainly can't survive yet another monster. It's not survivable, people. I won't be here if I have another love affair and it turns shitty and evil and violent and threatening and putrid. It will mean death for me, because I will leave permanently this time. There'll be no more failing at that. It'll be successful. It's another reason why I'm kind of holding back, because I know that I want to live a full and vibrant and joyous and loving life with a man who's worthy of my spirit and my power and my light. And I'm holding on for that, people. I'm holding on for that. Courtney wasn't as smart as me or in my class, according to his mother. But I'd loved him anyway and been there for him for 5 years. Now it's gone, and I have to remember it wasn't my fault. What are you doing up there, Charlie? Isn't she cute? It was a decision made for Courtney by his cruddy friends, and he was too weak or ambivalent to choose me. I guess it reinforces the fact that he did not love me, which in turn reinforces the fact that no man had or has ever truly loved me. When I wrote that, it was 2011, and I've been loved in recent months. I have been truly loved. I have seen it in his face. I have seen it in the joy that emanates. I have been truly loved. But, I've been loved by that postman today. He's a deeply soul-nourishing, loving human being, a wonderful man. So it doesn't have to all end up in the sack, grunting and writhing and sweating and oohing and ahhing. There are higher forms of love at play. And I'm an earthy woman. I'm looking forward to the sexual side of things in the appointed time. But I've been loved so powerfully and so beautifully in the last 7 months by good, kind men and women that I want to cry with the great rejoicing and the delighting and the emanating and the peace and the excitement sometimes and the wishing and hoping that I could move forward into a full sexual love partnership with this person. It's been wonderful, but I have to remind myself, it's not real unless it's real. And you can't steal joy from another woman's life by rutting her husband, as tempting that it might be. And I'm naughty sometimes, I'm cheeky sometimes, I do flirt sometimes, and it's fun, and it's a bit earthy and a bit soul nourishing too, to remind me that I'm still a real woman and I'm still desirable, and I still have, I still have sensuality but anyway, Mama T. Mama T has become, at long last, no longer afraid of my sexuality, by the way, which I also tamped down and locked away out of trauma after the epic abuse I experienced with lackluster false lovers of the past, right? So I said, which in turn reinforces the fact that no man had or has ever truly loved me. So I sat on the couch for a year. This was written in 2011, a year after he ended our relationship. I grieved for a year. I was also grieving my evil fucking bastard of a mother, but I grieved him too. For 1 year, I gave myself a year on that couch, well, my mother's couch, that I got rid of eventually. Thank God I did too. And but I sat on that couch with my cats. Beauregard hadn't come into my life yet. And I grieved and I grieved and I grieved every day, moving like a shadow through this world, grieving. And then I went dancing. And I danced and I danced and I danced. And I got harassed out of the Irish Murphys by envious, spiteful, malfeasant, ugly, evil people. And I got harassed out of the Treasury Casino last year, just after my dog died, by more evil, low-level entity, scum people. And what did I do? What I always do, triumphantly and victoriously and defiantly. I kept dancing, and on I shall dance until the day I eventually die, or my legs fail me and I can't walk anymore. God forbid that should ever happen, but I will dance as long as my legs hold me up. And I hope that I will be continuously surrounded by good, kind, loving, supportive people who see me and hear me and value me and cherish me and even adore me for my wild shamanic dance and my light and my energy and my words and my spirit. And so it goes, and so it goes, until it goes no longer, because I will leave this existence. Ultimately, we all do eventually. Which then makes me feel unlovable or unsuitable. That's how he made me feel. That's how my other lovers made me feel. Unlovable, unsuitable, unworthy of love. Like they really did a fucking number on me. And it's taken my psychiatrist 13 years to support me in growing me back, by the way. You know, the talking therapy and my wild dancing and my own indomitable will. Took a lot to come back to life, especially after losing Beauregard last year was another major fucking hit. But here we are. So I write here, so fuck them all. I don't really need them. They know that. I am used to living my own life my way, and I won't let any man, woman, child bring me down to feeling that my life is worthless. Well, that was my intentions in 2011, but Dave and my own Brisbane Jewish community did another number on me in 2015. And yes, I did get brought down to wanting to die again. So hopefully that never happens to me again, because I'm done. I'm done being brought down, literally to the waiting room of death, because of other people's inadequacies or sadism or psychopathology, by the way. I'm done with that. It would have been so nice to be wrong for once, for the man I love to have stood up strong and proud and said, Tanya is my woman, no matter what, and I truly love and care about her. Laughing out loud, what a fantasy. In 2 days' time, it's my birthday, 46 years old. Now 59 years old. And my life has meant nothing, led to nothing, achieved nothing, not even real lasting love. Instead of feeling worthless most of the time, I have to remember how much I have gained by sticking to my guns, going solo, and being an interminable loser in love and life. Wisdom, a sense of humour and incredible guts. Maybe in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, try 13 years' time, life will treat me kinder, or I'll have made peace with my sad, fucked up existence. So much peace that I'll be dead. Well, no, baby girl, very much alive and fully integrated. As my beautiful friend said to me on Friday night, I love your power. And I honour that, my darling. I'm fully integrated, but I fought a long 58 and 363 day battle to be back in my own power as of even date. Maybe nothing matters, just the journey, and this pain will eventually leave me, or never. I have known the powerful surging love I felt last week is a gift, if not for me, then for this planet. I want to feel that all-encompassing love all the time. I want to stop living in the void of other people's superficiality and cardboard cutout shadow love. If they are not full and real people, then what can they offer me but emptiness, lies, deceit and betrayals? So you can imagine why I can scream on the inside when I think how I invited Dave Wiglet into my life in 2014 and Sarah into my life in 2013, and the viciousness that stemmed from all of that. You can just barely scrape over the sensation of how sick it made me feel that I had self-immolated by bringing such false, evil, perverted friends and lover into my life again, to my own detriment and almost death. I want to step out into the sunshine, the bliss of my shattered life, to see the light shine through all my broken klipot. It's an imagery from Kabbalah. The broken klipot that once broken cannot ever be repaired, but the light shines through them. And though they cannot be glued together, that their leakages bring more light to those who are touched by my leaky, achy, breaky heart. Maybe it's good that I was broken. Maybe it shaped who I am today, and in the process is still shaping the woman I will be in the future. Maybe it's not so bad, laughing out loud. April 10th, 2010. I am thrilled to announce that my happy day was made even more magical this evening when mother and daughter opossum visited my front door hoping for some food. I had to entice the younger, smaller female opossum of my front screen door with apples. Oh, my neck hurts. As she was afraid of the dog, to get her to jump back on my veranda balustrade. She actually ate out of my hand, the dear. It's been a week or so since they last knocked on my door asking for a nosh. What ingenious little creatures. I forgive them for eating all my strawberry seedlings. My only worry is, if my door had been open, they would have rampaged through my house for sure, as one did recently to my friend Jared. I am amazed that the mother possum trusts me with her baby though. Most unusual behaviour for wild animals indeed. I guess I have been adopted as a surrogate source of food for my possum family, i.e. used in the manner that my cats do. But who am I to refuse a meal to such hungry little visitors? They must have worked out that I feed my aloof cats in spite of how little they actually appreciate me, and figure I'm fair game, laughing out loud. So now I am the opossum's favourite pet, and loving it. Today was a lovely day. I felt relieved and happy for the first time in a long time, and had some lovely quality time in the morning, shopping with Jared, then in the afternoon, walking at West End with Courtney and Bella, and a lovely evening talking with Gail. Life doesn't get much better than having one's friends and lover spend quality time with one. Awesomeness. And why I'm plutzing here is I just saw my friends walk past with little Coco, and they didn't stop in. They probably realised if I'm sitting here at the front desk that I'm making my video. But anyway, I'll see them tomorrow for Elsa's funeral, and it's all good. So on that note, I wish you a beautiful day in the space-time continuum. And there was some powerful writing in today's offerings, and I feel a bit soul-nourished and uplifted. And I also feel very uplifted by that conversation I had with the postman, delivery man. He's a lovely man, and but I already knew that before we had our conversation. And yes, I feel very much graced by the gods, and grateful and humble and contented in spite of reading about my grief over my last 5-year relationship back in 2011, I was still grieving, right? Grief takes its own time to resolve itself, and I'm glad that I'm over all of that now. It was hard. It was very hard going at the time. As my psychiatrist said when I came under his care late October 2010, which was just after the relationship with Courtney ended as well. I was grieving my mother's death. He said I was quite a mess, and I can imagine looking back on that now, reading my own writings. Yes, I was indeed a mess. And well, I'm better now. Much, much better. I'm still eminently broken, and my heart is still kintsugi'd and duct taped and held together by spiritual gold, and it's almost its own gnosis now. But I have loving people around me who treat me with kindness and honour and integrity, and I'm grateful for you beautiful souls that have been with me on this journey a long, long time, some of you. And God and Goddess bless us all. May we merit a wonderful, love-filled, loving, sweet, generous, authentic, romantic and passionate, heartfelt, beautiful life, all of us together. God's bless. Bye for now from Titania's realm at Sacred Space.